Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Yester Reacts to the Darrell Brooks trial. Um, Today, we are continuing right where we left off. Just a couple of things to get out of first. Thank you for watching. You guys been watching the first video, and I appreciate that. We're gonna continue these videos every day. I hope. Like, just I don't. I work full time, so it's gonna be a little rough to have time to record this. But my goal is to get them every day. So please subscribe if you would like the content. I will appreciate it, and you will continue to see more videos. I promise. And not only from Darrell Brooks, I have more things scheduled. So let's jump right into the video.
I've briefly read Illinois versus Allen. It didn't say it didn't give any reference at all to him being present by audio or visual in that case whatsoever. It just strictly talks about the reasons that he was removed and the options that the judge had in that. One of them being that he could be bound and gagged. One of them being that he can be held in contempt and removed from the courtroom while the trial would continue, but it did not say anything about being present visually or audio or by audio.
Well, I appreciate you reading
They
the
didn't
case,
have the technology
sir,
back
and
then.
providing that information. I'm well aware of what the case
It's
says.
a new era.
And as that case says, the Supreme Court talked about there would be no one formula for maintaining the appropriate courtroom atmosphere, and no one formula will be best in all situations. But the Supreme Court said this: we think there are at least three constitutionally permissible ways for a trial judge to handle an obstreperous defendant like Allen, going through the three things that you identify. And my findings here are that there's a fourth way, and that's through the wonders of technology that weren't available in 1970 when that decision was authored. So I appreciate the notation on the record. You are here today, and I hope you stay here today. That's certainly my preference. You've demonstrated you're able to prepare, you're able to ask questions, you're able to articulate in a clear, coherent, cogent, and responsive way. And I'd like to bring the jury out, and that's what we're going to do next.
I'm interrupting real quick. I just want to say something very quick to that.
Very quick, sir.
I don't see that fourth way, Your Honor. Also,
She's just
Mr. Ross,
explaining.
my decision stands from previous. If you believe there's any error that I made, that is for you to address if there is a conviction and on appeal.
Yeah.
But my decision stands, and the record speaks for itself.
May I put on record that I intend to appeal that judicial decision, Your Honor?
Understood.
Go for it.
You may appeal as you deem appropriate. All right, thank you. Let's bring the jury out. I will ask everyone stand for the jury.
Of course he's
When you come
seating.
in.
Of course. No respect.
And good morning, ladies and gentlemen of the jury. Welcome back. Have a seat, and I'll make sure you all, looks like you all have your writing materials to take notes if you so choose.
Good morning, Ms. Patterson. How are you doing today?
I'm fine, thank you. Sorry.
All right.
Here we go.
Can you tell us, do you know a man by the name of Darrell Brooks?
Yes, sir.
Your Honor, I'd ask that the court have Mr. Brooks temporarily remove his mask.
Mr. Brooks, you're advised to remove your mask, please. Thank you.
Ms. Patterson, do you see Darrell Brooks in the courtroom today?
Yes, I do.
Can you tell us where he's sitting and what he's wearing?
On the left side. And
I
he's
just noticed,
wearing
is his
an
mask
orange shirt
backwards?
And a mask.
I'd ask the record reflect that the witnesses
he has it wrong.
The record will reflect that this witness has identified the defendant.
It's him.
Can you tell us how long you've known Darrell Brooks?
Since I was 15,
How old are you now?
32 today.
Oh, happy birthday.
Thank you.
What's the nature of your relationship with Mr. Brooks?
We have a 15-year-old daughter together.
Okay.
Yikes.
In what state did you meet Mr. Brooks?
Reno, Nevada.
And when did you come to Wisconsin?
Last year, 2021, June 13th,
Who did you come to Wisconsin with?
Darrell Brooks.
Did you come into contact with Darrell Brooks on the afternoon of November 21st, 2021?
Yes,
Yes.
Where did you first come into contact with Mr. Brooks?
at Frame Park.
Were you hanging out with Corey Runkle earlier that day?
Yes, her and her friend Nick.
Okay.
Yes,
Do you remember where you were with those two?
is at the Frame Park because we had split up when I met up with Darrell.
Okay. Do you remember what you were doing in Frame Park with Corey?
We were just hanging out.
Okay. Any alcohol involved?
Yeah, a little bit.
Do you
They had
remember?
like a Mike's Hard, the little Mike's Hard beer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Would you say that you were intoxicated after consuming one Mike's Hard beer?
No, I was not.
Sunday
when
afternoon.
Darrell was on his way,
Have it a
Corey
cold one?
and
Why
Nick
not?
had left. So I sat there and waited for him. We were still arguing on the phone, but I waited for him.
And you were in Frame Park?
Yes.
Okay. How did Darrell arrive? That is, he didn't walk to Waukesha.
He drove in
Okay.
his mother's car.
When you were staying
His
with
mom's
Mr.
car.
Brooks' mother, were you staying in the house?
No,
Where were you staying?
we were outside. Sometimes we'd sleep in that car because his mom, he was not allowed to, be in the house.
His mom
So,
didn't allow it.
Yes,
That's
And you
sad.
slept in that car with Mr. Brooks?
yes,
That was before November of 2021?
yes.
Okay. Describe for us what happened when Mr. Brooks first arrived in Frame Park, when you first saw him that day.
We were still arguing.
Wait, so they lived outside the house, like they were in the backyard, just in the car, but he wasn't allowed to go in with her. That's yikes.
Pretty much, he was already in a bad mood when he met up with me, anyways.
Did you get in the vehicle?
Yes.
Okay, and what happened next?
We drove around and were arguing, and that's when we got into the altercation in the car, and that's when I jumped out. We were up the hill.
Do you remember exactly the route that the two of you took while you were driving around?
Objection, relevancy.
Overruled. She may answer.
Yes, I do. I'm not sure the exact street names. Like I said, I'm not from Waukesha, but I do know the route. He drove up farther more, and then that's when I jumped. It was on the up the hill. It was farther more, and then that's when he hit me, and I jumped out of his car. Well, his mother's car.
Where were you sitting when he hit you?
The passenger side front seat,
Where was he sitting?
driver's side,
What did he use to hit you?
his hand.
Was it an open hand, a closed fist?
Yes. What was it? Like this, sorry, like his open hand.
Okay.
But it was hard, because
So
it,
the record should reflect that the witness raised her right hand and
yes.
kind of waved it almost like a...
This is one of the things that is gonna that I'll not pass it a lot. So, but this I have to say this: this guy hits people. It doesn't matter if it's a woman or it's a guy or it's anyone. This is a violent guy, and he just likes to get it out in woman on woman. I mean, it was 2 times in a row that he hit her, and then there was the little thing that when he allegedly ran her over with his car and broke her leg. So I don't know. I have no sympathy for Darrell Brooks.
A back slap?
No,
You don't
harder
hit
than
people.
that.
Okay.
You just don't. You don't hit women. It's
What did you do
Just don't do
after Mr. Brooks struck you?
I cried, and then I just jumped out of the car. And then going towards down the hill, that's when he was following me,
Describe how you were going down the hill.
walking down the hill,
And how was he going down the hill?
driving.
The red Ford Escape?
Yes.
Okay. What happened next?
He just followed me all the way to the park.
Okay.
He tried to take my phone from me at the light going down the hill, and he just kept following me and arguing with me out the window.
just try not to
Do you
get.
recall being
so she didn't call the
near
cops.
a gas station while this argument was happening?
Yes.
Objection, irrelevant.
Yes.
Hold on. Overruled. She may answer, and the answer she provided may stand.
Yes.
Does this video accurately show what happened in front of the White Rock School on November 21st of 2021?
Yes.
I move Exhibit 4 into evidence and request permission to publish.
Any objections?
Yes, we
Yes.
haven't even played the video. How do we know what's even in the video at this point?
Ignorant.
Can we see the video before it is admitted into evidence?
Your objection is noted. The foundation has been laid. Exhibit 4 is received.
He That's one of the things he always objects to. The most rant. He objects to everything. He tries. I've seen him object to three times, just one after another, and none of it is like
You
real.
saw a red SUV, right?
Yes.
Who was driving that SUV?
Darrell Brooks?
Was there anybody else in the vehicle at that point, to your knowledge?
Nope.
Okay. Who got into the driver's seat at the end of that video?
Darrell Brooks?
And again, anybody in the vehicle at that point,
No.
other than him?
No.
Can we please pull up for the witness only?
These faces. Why these faces? He's just saying what's happening.
Exhibit 5.
I don't get it.
Objection. Why is that for the witness? Oh, sorry.
You recognize this photograph? Ms.
Yes.
Patterson?
Yes.
And I believe actually Exhibit 5 has already been received and published, so I'd ask to do that again, to publish again.
Permission granted.
I object. Wasn't it supposed to be for the witness only?
The exhibit's previously been received and the state requested permission to publish it once again, and I granted that request.
Publish
Ms.
means show
Patterson,
it.
who's that in the picture?
That's me.
And that photograph was taken
The day of the parade?
November 21st,
Yes.
the night.
Yes.
Okay. And what injuries do we see in that video, in that photograph?
That is my left eye that was swollen.
Your left eye would have been the eye closest to the defendant,
Yeah.
based on your description of where you and the defendant were sitting in the vehicle?
Yes.
Okay.
That's a
And
big
how did you
hit.
sustain that injury?
From him, Mr. Brooks, when he hit me.
Ms. Patterson, did you consent in any way to being struck in the face?
No.
Nope. Oh.
That's all I have for this witness.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Here we
Mr.
go,
Brooks,
people.
do you have any questions for this witness?
Yes, I do.
Yes, she does.
First of all, good morning
Good morning.
and happy birthday.
Thank you.
Don't smile, dude. Never smile.
You stated that you were hanging out with your friend Miss Corey on the day of this incident, correct?
Yes.
Would it be fair to say that you were hanging out drinking?
Yes, she just
Yes.
said that.
Would it also be fair to say that you occasionally drink too much?
Yeah. How's it relevant?
Sustained.
Would it be fair to say that, well, let me back up. What were you drinking?
She
A
just said
Mark's
that.
hard beverage.
Were you aware that it was said that you were actually drinking vodka?
No.
Sustained that mischaracterizes the previous testimony. Next question.
So it would be fair to say that you were drinking.
Yes.
Would it be fair to say that you were a little intoxicated?
I was not.
No, it's one. Mike's Hard. It's not even alcohol. It's water.
How much did you
and
drink
sugar.
that day?
One of the Mike's hard alcohol beverage.
I know it's not water and sugar, but it doesn't have a lot of alcohol.
And around what time of the day was that?
I don't remember.
Was it shortly before meeting up with the alleged defendant, or was it sometime before?
It was before.
Did you have anything to drink after?
No, I did not.
How is this relevant?
Did you at any time ask the alleged defendant to meet up with you?
Well, I told Mr. Brooks where I was.
Did you at any time ask to meet up with the alleged defendant?
No, I did not.
So it would be
You
fair to
just show
say
up.
that the alleged defendant just came where you were?
Yes, I told you where we were. And obviously, we were going to hang out. I never told Mr. Brooks to hang out with me. I told him where we were.
If there was an argumentative conversation prior to you meeting up with the alleged defendant, why would you tell the alleged defendant where you were?
Objection asked and answered.
Sustained.
Yeah,
It would be fair to say
he
that you
repeats
were
himself a lot.
engaged in conversation with the alleged defendant before you even left the women's shelter,
Yes.
and those argumentative conversations continue into your hanging out.
Yes.
Would it be fair to say that that's what led you to drink?
What?
No.
He was
Would it
just
be
hanging
fair to
out.
say you were drinking because that's what you wanted to do?
Yes.
Yeah.
Is it true that one of the rules and requirements of being at the women's shelter is no drugs and no alcohol? Would that be fair to say?
Yes, but when I was drinking, it was at Frame Park. I was not at the women's shelter.
Yeah.
Would it be fair to say that you knew you had to come back into the women's shelter at some point that day, that they have a curfew?
Yes. And I made it before curfew.
She wasn't gonna bring the bottle.
Let me back up a little bit. You did state that part of the rules and requirements for being in the women's shelter is no drugs and no
Why is this
alcohol,
relevant?
correct?
Yes, it was not in the women's shelter.
That's not what I'm asking. It's part of the requirement and rules of the women's shelter, no drugs, no alcohol.
Yes.
Object asked and answered.
On site,
Sustained. Next question, Mr. Brooks.
not outside. Different.
Is there any type of drug and alcohol testing at the women's shelter?
I don't know.
How is that
No.
relevant?
No, or you don't know?
I don't know.
Would it be fair to say that if it was found that you were engaging in drugs and alcohol, that you might have lost your place at the women's shelter?
I'll object. I don't see how this is relevant.
Yeah.
Sustained. Next
Thank
question.
you, Zach.
To your knowledge, did the alleged defendant know anything about the city of Waukesha?
Yes.
And what did the alleged defendant know about Waukesha?
He told me, Mr. Brooks told me that his first child's mother lives in Waukesha.
Do you know that to be a fact?
No, that's just what Mr. Brooks told me.
Yeah, you told him. Tell her. Yeah.
Are you aware that the alleged defendant in fact has no mother of any child
Are you aware that I lied to you? Just so you know.
that lives in the city of Waukesha?
Objection. If Mr. Brooks wants to testify, he should do so in a different stage of the trial.
Sustained. You don't need to answer that.
Yes, ma'am.
Would it be fair to say, assuming from what you just said, that you were with the alleged defendant for approximately around 30 minutes or so?
Yes.
And during that time, did you make any disparaging remarks or anything to entice the argument to escalate?
No.
Okay, what he's trying to do right now is trying to tell the jury that she is the one that made him mad. She's the one that, because she insulted him or made him, I don't know, throw an insult to him. She is the one that made him hit her. There's always two that, like he says. It's
So you didn't say anything at all during your 30 minutes with the alleged defendant?
No, because I was crying the whole time because Mr. Brooks was yelling at me, arguing with me.
So you said absolutely nothing at all?
I was crying the whole time.
Did you say anything?
No.
You said that during this, well, once you had got out of the vehicle, as you say, you stated that your friend Miss Corey pulled you away from the vehicle because it swerved.
Yes, it was in the video.
You do know that we just saw the video. Would that be fair to say?
Yes, but there's two angles of the video.
Well, we only saw one, so I'm referring to the
Yes,
video that we saw.
Corey pulled me out the way when Mr. Brooks made a U-turn, and you almost swerved into Miss Patterson, which is me.
Would it be fair to say that the video does not show that?
There's different angles, but the video does not show that. The video we watched.
That's irrelevant.
So the video
Her
that we just
testimony is
watched,
the evidence.
that the jury just saw, there is no swerving of the vehicle and you being pulled back. Would that be fair to
From
say?
that far angle, you can kind of see it. Yes.
Yeah.
Would that be fair to say? That
You
there's-
answered the question, Mr. Brooks. Next question.
Do you remember reporting in your statement that the last thing he said to me was FUB, erase my number? Do you remember that?
I don't remember.
It's been a year.
Would it be fair to say that you reported that this was said?
I don't remember.
Ask and answer.
Do you remember giving a statement to that effect?
No.
You said no.
Would it be fair to say that you gave a statement?
No, I don't remember. I gave a statement to the detectives at the Women's Center.
So
That's
would
what I
it be
remember.
fair? I'm sorry, I didn't know.
You done answering?
Yes.
All right, next question.
Would it be fair to say that your memory is kind of cloudy of that day because you were intoxicated?
No.
It was one Mike's heart. Come on, dude.
There's a lot of things in this statement that you don't seem to remember. Is that fair to say?
Argumentative?
It's,
Sustained. Next question.
Would it be fair to say that you reported two different incidents?
yes.
Do you remember the dates of those incidents?
Here we go. Like, right now he's trying to incriminate himself. Like, he doesn't realize it. But now he's gonna open the door, let's say.
That you
The
reported?
20th and the 21st.
Would it be fair to say that there was no incident on the 20th?
No.
Would it be fair to say that you were initially not truthful with law enforcement?
No.
Do you recall making a second statement the next day? Or the next morning, rather, which would have been the 22nd of November, 2021?
Yes, I did actually. Yes, I did.
Do you recall what you reported that day?
I told them about the 20th when I met with Mr. Brooks, and all we did was argue. And you hit me then too.
So
There we go. Open the door.
you reported incidents for 2 days in a row.
Yes.
Yes.
Incriminate yourself, dude.
Do you recall at any time telling law enforcement that you were not truthful and wanted to be truthful at that point?
No.
Mischaracterization of the
So
testimony.
you never made a statement to your knowledge that you fabricated a reported abuse incident.
No.
One second here, I'm reading from the...
He's not prepared. He's not prepared. He's just reading. He's
To the best of your knowledge, do you remember talking with a detective? I don't want to butcher this name, Your Honor. I don't know how to pronounce it.
You can spell it if that's helpful.
A detective, BEHRENDT.
Detective Barron? Is it a detective or an officer?
It says detective, Your Honor.
Okay, ask your question.
Do you remember speaking with that detective?
Yes.
I'm reading directly from the statement, Your Honor, if I may.
Ask your question.
Do you remember reporting to that detective saying you were not completely forthright with all of the information that you had given because you were afraid to get other people involved in your drama or your business?
I don't remember that.
And I'll object and move to strike based on the fact that I think I'm safe in saying that that is not from the report which the defendant is referring to.
The objection is sustained. I'll grant the motion to strike by the state of the question and any response that may have been elicited
Zach
before.
is like, you don't know what you're talking about, bro. He's like, what?
Your
Reading
Honor,
from the
quick
report.
question on that. I'm reading directly from the report.
It's so funny that they have to help him. To be like, you know what? You're not doing that.
Next question, Mr.
Like-
Brooks.
Just 1 second, Your Honor.
Okay.
His opponents are helping him. That's how sad this case is.
I apologize for that, Your Honor. Do you remember at any time speaking with Officer Guth?
Yes.
Do you remember what you reported on November the 21st?
That me and Mr. Brooks, I met with Mr. Brooks at Frame Park. Me and Mr. Brooks got into an altercation. You hit me. I jumped out of your car and I walked and met my friend Corey. You followed me. And then after that, Nick and Miss Corey, they called the police officers. And then you drove off.
Plain and simple.
Just 1 second, Your Honor.
Let me read more.
Do you recall reporting to Officer Guth that you were not completely forthright with the information that you reported?
I don't remember. And no, no, I did not say that. I apologize.
So reading from what was reported to Officer Guth states that what I learned from Erika Patterson was that when I spoke to her on the previous evening with Officer Garrett, was that the pronunciation, Your Honor? I'm sorry.
No matter. Move on.
I don't have it in front of me, I'm not sure.
She was not completely forthright with all of the information she had given. Would that be fair to say?
She didn't
What was
write
your
that.
question?
Do
The officer said that. She didn't.
recall in your reporting to Officer Guth that you were not forthright with the information that you gave?
No. I don't recall that.
Do you remember the date and time of the first incident that you allege?
I don't remember the time, but it was November 20th.
Do you remember what time of day that may have been?
I just said I don't remember.
He does.
Do you remember where you were at?
Frame Park.
So would it be fair to say that both alleged incidents that you are alleging happened at Frame Park?
The second incident on November 21st did not happen on Frame Park. We were driving around and he hit me.
What
The
I'm
first
asking
incident.
is where you were at when you met up.
Frame Park, yes.
On
That's
both,
not what you
on both
just
alleged
said.
occasions?
Yes. That's how Mr. Brooks knew where Frame Park is. He already knew Waukesha area in the first place.
Same park.
Yes.
She
Were
just
you
said
drinking that day?
No.
And how did you know how to get to Frame Park, as you call it?
I knew how to get to Frame Park because I'd been there previous times before that with Miss Corey. I knew how to get there because Corey walked with me that day too. I just was not with her. She walked towards there with me.
And so then you separated?
Yes.
She's getting frustrated with him, and I don't blame her.
Did you separate from Miss Corey at any time during the 21st?
Yes, I did. She left with Nick, and I was with Mr. Darrell Brooks.
Would it be fair to say you guys separated after hanging out and drinking?
Yes.
Mr. Brooks, under
Thank you,
906.11,
Judge.
sub 1, sub C, you need to move on to a new topic. You've been over this multiple times. It's been asked, it's been answered, and now it's under my authority under 906.11 sub 1 sub C, you need to move on.
Please.
So, to the best of your knowledge, well, let me back up. How did you communicate with the alleged defendant on November 20th of 2021?
Why do
Phone
you keep
calls.
bringing that up? It's irrelevant. You're not charged by the 20.
Strictly phone calls, texts?
Both. Mostly phone calls.
Do you remember what was said in those texts and phone
Same
calls?
conversation we had on the 21st. He was mad because I wasn't giving him money from not bailing him out.
She, he,
So-
he was mad because she didn't give him money for him to go get out of jail. I think for running her over.
So why would you meet up with the alleged defendant that day?
Because I just wanted to. We have a 15-year-old together. I mean, I was always going to talk to you then.
Do you remember if there was any agreed upon meeting up that day
Yes,
by you, by the alleged defendant?
both.
Do you remember the reason why you were meeting up?
I just said why.
So it would have been just to conversate,
Just to conversate.
would it be fair to say that you could have communicated strictly by the phone?
Yes.
Under 906.11 sub 1 sub C, the objection is sustained.
The judge
So-
was just waiting for him to object to move
Why
on.
didn't you file a report with law enforcement on November the 20th after you alleged that you were abused?
Because I've been dealing with it for so many years, I just didn't do it.
Yeah, she's just
I don't
sorry.
see what this has anything to do with this case.
How,
Thank you.
How long have you known the alleged defendant again?
Since I was 15, I'm
Ask and
32
answer.
now.
Would it be fair to say
Underage, by the way.
that you lived in different states from the alleged defendant?
Yes, but I
Oh, I'm sorry, I thought there was.
I was gonna object and ask for clarification on the timeline there.
I'll sustain the objection, rephrase the
I,
question.
I was going to get to that, Your Honor. Would it be fair to say that during the duration of the time knowing the alleged defendant that the majority of that time you did not live in the same area or state?
the whole 16
Does
years,
this
me,
matter?
me and Mr. Brooks were not together, but it was off and on.
Did you guys live in the same area off and on during that time?
Objection,
I-
asked and answered.
Sustained.
Yeah. Move on.
Out of the 16 years you said it was, correct?
Yes,
said
off
that
and
you were.
on, Mr. Brooks.
How much of that time did you actually spend with the alleged defendant?
Objection, Your Honor.
Sustained, also under 906.11 sub 1 sub C. Move on.
Move on.
1 second, Your Honor. Just going on.
Let me read more. I'm out of questions and I need to
Just 1 second, Your Honor.
cheat. You get my cheat sheet here. Because I don't prepare at all.
You were not drinking on both of those days that you cite, the 20th or the 21st.
The
You
20
already
Hold on.
answered that.
Mr. Brooks, under 906.11, I'm stopping this cross-examination. You've asked the same question, multiple questions, multiple times. And at this point, I'm going to declare that
I didn't
the
know.
opportunity to cross is now concluded.
I
Thank
didn't
you.
know that was the same question, Your Honor.
Mr. Brooks, it's been asked and answered multiple times. Thank you. You may step
Thank
down.
you, Your Honor.
All right. We're gonna stop it here. I went a little long in this one, but I wanted to get the whole interview with Erika mm, on, on because she's one of the key witnesses, obviously. So I wanted to just get that. So I'll see you guys in the next episode. Like the video if you enjoy this kind of content. I'll get more. I like this case, and I'll continue covering. So thank you for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video.